Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Between Ukraine and Russia. Mutinous Wagner mercenary group boss Yevgeny Prigozhin is likely either dead or jailed, and his much-publicized meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin after his botched rebellion was probably faked, according to a former senior U.S. military leader. Retired General Robert Abrams, an ABC News contributor who previously served as the commander of U.S. Forces Korea, shared his thoughts on Prigozhin's uncertain fate in the aftermath of the Wagner Group's short-lived armed insurrection last month. My personal assessment is that I doubt we'll see Prigozhin ever again publicly, Abrams told ABC News. I think he'll either be put in hiding or sent to prison, or dealt with some other way. But I doubt we'll ever see him again. Asked if he thought the billionaire businessman was alive after posing the most significant challenge to Putin's regime since he came to power in 1999, Abrams said, "I personally don't think he is. And if he is, he's in a prison somewhere." The retired four-star general also raised doubts about a meeting that, according to Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov, Putin held with Prigozhin and all his senior Wagner commanders on June 29th, 5 days after the aborted mutiny. "I'd be surprised if we actually see proof of life that Putin met with Prigozhin, and I think it's highly staged," Abrams said. Peskov told reporters Monday that Putin had invited 35 people to the meeting, among them Prigozhin, and that it had lasted 3 hours. Anyway, while we wait, will we see Prigozhin again? Shoigu, Gerasimov. Here's the ammunition. Russian Defense Ministry reported it took over taking over the Wagner PMC equipment and ammunition. 2,500 tons of ammunition, 20,000 small arms, and more than 2,000 units of military equipment, including hundreds of tanks. MLRS Grad, Urigan, Sam Panzer, self-propelled artillery systems, armored personnel carriers, and others were taken over by the ministry. The ministry said that all this will be transported to the rear areas, where repair and recovery units of the Russian armed forces will carry out maintenance and prepare them for usage. It mentioned that dozens of that equipment were never used in combat. This event is going in favor of General Abrams' thoughts. It seems that the Russian army is dissolving Wagner completely. And the suspected helper of Prigozhin is still gone. Surovikin is resting now, said Andrei Kartopolov, Russian MP, explained Army General Sergei Surovikin's disappearance from media space. Surovikin has not appeared in public since Prigozhin's mutiny.
Вы с Суровикиным случайно не общаетесь?
С кем?
С Суровикиным. А только разные слухи ходят, где он.
Нет, он отдыхает сейчас пока. Недоступен.
Russian propagandist Martin suspects that Russian authorities are not telling their nation the whole truth about Prigozhin's rebellion. Authorities used to call it an armed mutiny. Now it's a march. Russian central bank claims the events had no impact on the dollar exchange rate, when in fact they did. Is it possible we are considered to be idiots by the government? Martin wonders aloud.
Сегодня довольно много официальных лиц очень важных, давали всевозможные объяснения произошедшим за последние пару дней событиям. И у меня такое ощущение, честно вам скажу, что нас либо за идиотов считают, либо вот кому-то прям вот даже лень сформулировать, ну, что-нибудь более-менее удобоваримое. Ну, например, комментарий Центрального банка относительно влияния марша Вагнера, я даже не знаю теперь, как называть, вроде как военный мятеж еще недавно называли, а теперь вроде как и не военный мятеж, об этом тоже поговорим. Марш Вагнера на Москву. Давайте вот пока такое нейтральное выражение будем использовать. Так вот, Центральный банк уверяет, что влияние вот этого самого марша, когда, в общем, все сутки сидели в состоянии полной комы, правда, полной комы, потому что люди не знали, и что теперь, а что будет завтра? Никакого влияния на курс доллара, ну или на курс рубля не оказало. Как вам это? Ну вот вы в это верите? Я не то чтобы в это не верю, потому что я специально проверял, что происходило с курсом доллара вот в эту пятницу, субботу и в воскресенье, насколько он скакнул и в официальных банках, которые в выходные, как вы знаете, не работают, и какой курс был в черных и в серых обменниках. В телеграм-каналах очень несложно найти эту информацию. Вот, уважаемые господа из Центрального банка могли бы тоже воспользоваться этим источником информации и посмотреть, повлияли ли эти события на курс доллара или нет. Ничего не повлияло. Ни Вагнер не повлиял, ни управляемая девальвация не повлияла, ни вывод капитала не повлиял. Ну, просто вот курс 90. А так все, в принципе, ну, как сказал Дмитрий Сергеевич Песков, так бывает. Вопросов даже нет.
Stacks of cash were among the many items found and photographed, and allegedly stolen, by Russian security forces searching Yevgeny Prigozhin's house. He has been responsible for dispersing vast amounts of black cash to relatives of dead Wagner troops. At least until the recent Wagner mutiny, relatives of its dead fighters were paid compensation of up to 5 million rubles, $60,000, plus uncollected wages, up to $2,650 monthly. The money was paid in cash, stuffed in bags, and dispersed from collection points around Russia. For the first time since the Prigozhin mutiny, Gerasimov appeared. A video with him was published today by the Ministry of Defense of Russia. The Daily Mail's information that Gerasimov was removed from his post and replaced by General Teplinsky therefore seems premature and untrue. On the other hand, Prigozhin's company signed contracts worth 1 billion rubles. After the mutiny, Russian media found out. After June 24th, the companies associated with Yevgeny Prigozhin have signed at least 9 contracts worth more than 1 billion rubles, about $11 million. RTVI found out. For example, the Prodfoot Service Company will feed school children from 2023 to 2025. They were granted 705 million rubles, almost $8 million. The other suppliers were also Prigozhin-affiliated AVK LLC, Combinat Preschool Catering, a preschool catering company, and Russots Capital LLC. Other Prigozhin-affiliated customers include Moscow hospitals and schools, as well as the Artek Children's Camp. Previous contracts with Prigozhin's companies will not be terminated either. If this is true and Prigozhin is still alive, then mafia bosses decided to make a peace between each other. So many dead people in vain. Or maybe someone else just took over the companies and continue with the business as usual.
Si no puedes aportar económicamente al canal, suscríbete, comenta y comparte, esto ayudará mucho a seguir informando.